Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order for Wednesday, July 18th. This is a special meeting on a township-related issue, and may we have a roll call, please?
Commissioners Meyer. Here. Brodsky.
Present.
Rothman.
Here.
Lucido.
Here.
Sanchez.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Schreiber.
Here.
Hecker.
Here.
Spiegelman. Davey.
Here.
Gillespie.
Here.
Capone.
Here.
Bowman. Klein.
Here.
Luker.
Here. Be advised, Commissioner Spiegelman and Commissioner Bowman are excused. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to announce that an executive session was held this evening at 6:30 p.m. for the purpose of discussing a matter of litigation. So at this time, we're going to consider a mutual release and settlement agreement between Old York LLC, Metropolitan Properties of America Incorporated, the Township of Abington, and Kenneth J. Clark. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to our solicitor, Mr. Michael Clark.
Thank you, President Luker. As you've indicated, we're here this evening to consider a mutual release and settlement agreement between Old York LLC, Metropolitan Properties of America, the Township of Abington, and Kenneth J. Clark. This meeting came about by a notice from you, President Luker, calling an executive session for this evening and special meeting. That notice went to all board members on July 13th of 2018, announcing that the special meeting would be held this evening. Pursuant to Section 709 of the Sunshine Act, public notice was properly given 24 hours in advance of convening the meeting. The ad ran in the Intelligencer yesterday, 7/17/18, and proof of publication is in the township records. The parties to this settlement agreement are Old York LLC, Metropolitan Properties of America, Inc., the Township of Abington, and Kenneth J. Clark. The release that you have in front of you this evening, in addition to it being reviewed by counsel for Old York LLC and Metropolitan Properties, has been reviewed by the Township's Insurance Counsel, DZ Mahoney and Valentini, and it has also been reviewed by my office. As we prepare to consider this release this evening, the board should be aware that Old York LLC and Metropolitan Properties of America, Inc. have agreed to settle this matter, as has Kenneth J. Clark. I'll briefly give the board some details regarding the release on the pertinent issues in front of you this evening. First and foremost, there is no monetary settlement involved in this release. There is no exchange of money between the parties. This release will resolve all open matters currently involving the parties who I've mentioned earlier. Those matters that are being resolved are two matters in federal court in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania. One is Old York LLC versus Abington Township, a 2015 case docketed at 2015-2089. The second is Old York versus Abington Township and Kenneth J. Clark, a 2016 case docketed at 2016-1731. Three cases currently in the Montgomery County Court of Common Pleas will be resolved by this release. One is Old York versus Abington Township, a 2016 case docketed at 2016-11116, and Old York versus Abington Township, a 2017 case docketed at 2017-20466. In addition, Abington Township versus Old York LLC will be resolved. That is a 2016 case docketed at 2016-11418. Finally, non-vehicle citations filed by the township on May 10th, 2016 and June 18th, 2016 will be resolved with the, if this release is approved this evening by the board. All of the cases I have just mentioned will be dismissed with prejudice, which means that all cannot be reinstated or revived by the parties. The factual claims cannot form the basis of any new action unless such claims are based on actions taking place after the effective date of this release. The release also contains language regarding sealed filings in the federal court action related to a motion for a protective order and a motion to compel production of a video inspection. Two important sections of the release that I want to point out for the board, which you've been provided a copy of the release, is paragraph 11. The release is not deemed as a waiver of the township's right, duty, and obligation to enforce all applicable laws, ordinances, and codes. And the second section is section 5, which is the mutual non-disparagement language between the parties. That is the release that you have in front of you this evening. President Luker, as you indicated, the executive session was held earlier this evening for the purpose of discussing this matter with the board, completely consistent with the Sunshine Act, discussing a matter of open litigation. The board was given advice and answered questions from their legal counsel regarding this matter. Obviously, even though we did that earlier, we'll be happy to answer any questions this evening. Finally, one other housekeeping matter. On 7/17/2018, a email was received by President Luker, Manager Manfredi, and myself from Vice President Stephen Klein, which indicates, although I am no longer involved in the Colonnade 100 York Apartments project, I will attend the Board of Commissioners meeting on Wednesday, July 18th, 2018. However, I will not participate, deliberate, or vote on the agenda item related to the property or the project. I will state the same during the meeting and would like this email entered into the official record of the meeting. So it is clear Commissioner Klein has a right to be in attendance this evening, but as he correctly states in his email, he cannot participate, comment, or vote on the matter before the board this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. At this time, I'm going to open the meeting up for public comments. If you would kindly come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and try to keep your comments within the 3-minute speaking limit. You're welcome to come forward, please. Comments from the public.
Laura Lehman, 1431 Bryant Lane. How much do you think this whole legal matter cost the township, just from the legal point of view? The solicitor is here. Perhaps you'd ask him if you don't know. I would have liked to have hoped before you settled anything that you would know that as well. But do you have any idea, Commissioner Luker?
No, I do not. I'll defer to either counsel or the manager if they want to answer that question. If not, we'll move on to your next question or comment.
Our bills are public record. The speaker could file a right-to-know request for our bills. Off the top of my head, I don't know how much money has been spent either by myself, my firm, or through Divot, through the deductible in this matter.
Okay.
So I find that answer actually frightening because of the amount of money that was spent from the time the colonnade began with the faulty fire alarm calls and all of that.
Could you check and make sure the microphone is on, Ms. Lehman?
Can you hear me now?
No.
Okay, I can't get it any closer here. So can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
All right. So I find that frightening, that there is nobody taking a safeguard of the money, because this was millions. This was millions between the lawsuits. I sat in two days of 3 lawyers all day long. The amount of work, the amount of filings, I have 2 huge boxes of filings. I don't even have a portion of them, and the transcripts and so on. Frightening that the people who are supposed to be safeguarding our finances don't have an answer to that question and haven't been watching it and just settled a case with no monetary exchange, because that particular landlord, every time he was asked to follow a particular regulation, he refused. And he filed in court without, to my knowledge, he has never registered the fictitious names, which does not allow him to use the Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court system. And that was the duty of our solicitor and you who oversee our solicitor as well. That particular, if you look at all the cases, they were filed in different names. Metropolitan Properties 1 minute, Old York the next minute. 1 minute it was called the Colonnade. It is unbelievable. That also is not supposed to be, because people are supposed to know who they're dealing with. And that's part of the fictitious names reason. The MOU that was written was cited in nearly every case, and I don't have that. Can you look and see if you can find that paper that we just got out of the printer? I sent Mr. Manfredi a list of some of the many ones, but you just heard Solicitor Clark list, thank you. You just heard Solicitor Clark list some of the many lawsuits that had been filed. And the number of lawsuits alone is frightening, but when you look at the fact that almost all of them said, you're not following the MOU. I mean, nobody could read them and not see that how the MOU was written was the cause of some of this lawsuit. And if it was written that well and easy to defend, it should have been done in court in a few minutes. The judge would have seen it, everything would have been done. But it wasn't. And we had a situation, I've kept a history of it, so I do not think that it is in the interest of the citizens to end this in this way when you have a history of something, of many people who acted so badly, and you're trying to settle it so that they would have no consequence whatsoever for their actions. It's like, okay, we're done. We all did everything we wanted to do. We built the way we wanted to build. We blew out all the rules we wanted to blow out, and now we're done. We kept the fire marshal quiet by suing him, so he couldn't be pushed to follow the regulations he was supposed to follow, but he wasn't following them anyhow before that.
Let me just note that you've been talking for 5 minutes now. I've given you a little extra time, so can you wrap
I
it up, please?
appreciate it, because I put a little extra time into learning all of this,
Thank
so
you.
I do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay? So at the very least, not knowing what the cost is and ending this suit with so many bad actors that will have no consequence in this way is absolutely wrong.
Thank you.
Okay? And also, I just want to add, too, that not notifying the public so that the public could be here, that you should be postponing your decision now, because you know that 90% of Abington does not know this and has not any opportunity to get the facts of what it is you're deciding and have input. I was lucky somebody called me and told me this was happening. I wouldn't have seen it either. I don't check the website every day. So
Okay.
just not right. You are not serving the residents you've been elected to serve.
Thank you for your comments. Any other comments from the public? Comments from the public? Hearing none, comments from commissioners. Before we go to commissioners, Manager
No,
Manfredi.
I'll wait till you're finished, sir.
Okay. Comments from commissioners? Any comments? Commissioner Zepone. Get your mic put in front of you, Dennis.
I want to make a statement, but I don't know whether I should do it now or right before the vote.
Why don't you do it now?
Okay. I just want to say that this is not an attack against anyone. It is a vote to protect lives, and that is the job of every commissioner sitting up here. It is our job to protect our residents' lives and property. And knowing that there may be some open violations and not knowing if these violations have been corrected, in good faith, I cannot support this. So I have to sleep at night, and I always vote my heart, and I just have an issue with this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from commissioners? Did you have one, Commissioner Sanchez? Okay, go ahead. There are no comments. I'll entertain your motion, sir.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the mutual release and settlement agreement between Old York LLC, Metropolitan Properties of America Incorporated, the Township of Abington, and Kenneth J. Clark as set before us, and I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments from commissioners or staff? Did you have a comment?
My
Mr.
comment
Manfredi?
is unrelated to the motion, sir, so I can comment after you
Okay.
voted.
It's been moved and seconded. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioners Myers,
My vote is no. The only positive part of this is that it ends it. I don't think it ends it well, and I certainly don't think it ends it fairly, so I must vote no.
Brumsky,
Yes.
Rothman,
Yes.
DePlacido,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes?
Thompson,
Yes.
Shriver,
Yes.
Hecker,
Yes.
Davy,
Yes.
Gillespie,
I'm going to vote, it's on, wasn't it on? No, sorry. I'm voting no, just because it doesn't end all that's going on there, so.
Again, it's our job, our duty, our responsibility to protect every citizen in this township, every taxpayer, okay? We've got to protect them. They put us up here, okay? Protect their properties and protect their life. I'm voting no. I'm just not comfortable with this.
As stated by the solicitor, I'll be recusing myself from the vote.
Yes. Count, please.
That's easy.
93.
9-3. The motion passes. Manager Manfredi, you had a comment?
Yes, and this is really just for the record. The public commenter made a statement that the Board of Commissioners does not know the total legal costs of this case, and it's frightening, and that we are not taking a safeguard of the monies of the township. And I just wanted the record to know that our finance department, our finance director knows exactly where the dollars are. The Board of Commissioners approves every month, every bill. In a matter of minutes, the total cost of this case could be presented to you. I just don't want the public thinking that that's a true statement, just because that question and the dollar amount couldn't be produced here this evening.
Right, that's a good point, right. Right.
It is public.
I'm sorry, someone's out of order. Did you have a comment? Oh, okay.
He just gave a nice speech, but, you know,
Okay, could you come up to the microphone and identify yourself, sir? I heard a voice, but I couldn't tell where it was coming from. Name and address, please.
John DePremio, 1324 Warner Road.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't, you know, I mean, no disrespect, And it was nice that he knows where all the money is. It's nice that you all know where all the money is, but I think the people that send the check to the township should know where all the money is. I think that, you know, a FOIA request to know how you're spending our dollars is a little ridiculous.
Mr. Premio.
I think it should be, why can't, a request was made by a citizen of the township to ask for the amount of money that's been spent so far on the legal cost of these lawsuits. Very simple request. Why not just state it?
Mr. DePrimio, a question was asked of the Board of Commissioners if they know the total legal cost of the fees this evening at this moment in time. And because they didn't have that information immediately in front of them, it was stated how frightening it is and that they're not safeguarding the township's monies. I don't think that's a fair assessment.
No, but then your solicitor said, file a FOIA request. And I'm saying, why would any citizen have to file a FOIA request to find out how their tax dollars are being spent, how much tax money was spent on these lawsuits? Why is that an unreasonable a request? I mean, why are you asking any resident in this township, whether you like her or you don't like her, whether you like me or don't like me, why isn't that just made public? Why not just put it up on the website, saying to date, we're settling this lawsuit, and to date, we've spent $300,000 on legal fees? Well, I mean, I don't know why that has to be concealed. I don't know why we have to go through this dance to find out information that way.
I don't know what dance you're referring to, and
Well,
I don't know that anyone said that information wouldn't be provided.
No, the solicitor said file a FOIA request. Why should I have to spend money to file a FOIA request to find out where our money is being spent? We're sending our money to the we send the money to the township. You all have a responsibility to spend it responsibly. We have a right to know how it's being spent and who it's being spent with. You're settling a major lawsuit here. It's been going on for some time. I know there's been legal fees involved in this, significant legal fees, and I think the people in the township have a right to know where it is, how much was spent. What is so wrong with that? I mean, you'd want to know that if some contractor came to your house and was doing work on your house. You'd want to know where your dollars were being spent and why it cost X amount of dollars. Why can't the taxpayers know this? Why does it have to be a FOIA request? It's not a lengthy document. I'm sure that those numbers can be put on a single piece of paper. I'm sure it can be typed into the website. It's a very simple thing to do.
You're asking a question to the board about a statement that was not made by anybody up here.
No, your solicitor
right,
made
so
it. He represents the board, so I'm assuming he's representing
you're
you
furthering
and
an
the board.
argument, though. Nobody, as the manager has said, I don't think anybody said that information wouldn't be provided.
No, your solicitor said file a FOIA request.
You've made your
All
point.
right, so, Mr. Hecker, are you saying then that you will make that information available for the people in the township of Abington?
If there's a request for that information, it will be made available, as it always is when a
So
request is made.
we can count on the board members to put that dollar amount on the website.
Well, I didn't say
without-
that. I said there's multiple ways to make this available. You're trying to lead this discussion down to a very granular point. Your point was made. Yes, as a taxpayer, you have every right to understand how your tax dollars are being spent. I would like to remind you as well that over the last 4 years, this board has safeguarded your tax dollars.
I'm not making that argument.
The taxes have been raised by a total of $30
I am
over
not
4
making
years.
that
So
argument.
every expense is accounted for on a monthly basis.
I'm not making that argument. I'm asking about a specific dollar amount.
You have a right to answer to that question.
That relates to what this special meeting is about and why we don't have that information, or why it seems to be that you don't want to readily make it available. So I'll ask you this. If I come to the township building tomorrow, can I have that information?
I will ask Director Barron to get a total legal costs of this case, and I will have that number tomorrow.
Thank you. Any time, special time?
Please call before you
afternoon?
come.
Call
Please
you
call
I
before you come.
Okay. I assume you'll take the call. Thank you.
Would it be safe to comment that up to this point, all of this is in litigation, so we were not at liberty to really convey any kind of numbers to the public? Is that a safe?
Well, my bills are always a public document.
Right.
They have to be redacted so that information related to what actually we were doing is not released. But the law
Thank you. Are there any other comments? If there are none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
The meeting's adjourned, and thank you for your attendance.